I was taken out to the photo album, and we took copies of photos. So on this wall, this is an 1895 picture of Stormy Kromer in his baseball uniform. This is somewhere a little later. This is George and Ida, actually the people that, this is the lady that put the ear flaps on the first hat. This is the patent drawings. And incidentally, the patent for the ear flaps on Stormy Kromer hats expired in 1942, which means any one of you could make a hat like this and not be infringing on the patents or anything like that. This is Stormy Kromer's nephew in 1931. This is a baseball bat that was given to Stormy Kromer for his contribution to baseball. I arm wrestled the grandson of his attorney for this about a year ago. We traded him, finally got it from him, but it's a 1954 baseball hat. It was given to him as his contribution to baseball. So Stormy Kromer had a wonderful life and a very interesting life. He was quirky, he was weird. He didn't like the work. He had to ask his future father-in-law 3 times if he could get married. And the first 2 times he said, "Not until you get a full-time job, you're not marrying my daughter." And so then he went to work reluctantly for the railroad. And here's the only photo we have of him anywhere close to working. The rest of him he's playing baseball, or standing with his wife. So, and the great combination here is that this is what was going on in Ironwood with Stormy Kromer caps. Well, he was building the company. Most of the hats, when I bought the company from the owner that bought it from him, he said the problem with this darn hat is the only place that we sell them is in the Upper Peninsula. And he said, you're sitting where everybody buys them from. And so he was right. This is my grandfather in 1942 wearing a Stormy Kromer cap. This is my other grandfather's grocery store in 1938. This is the day that Ironwood got 54 inches of snow in 24 hours. That means this much snow in one day. And it buried the town, and my dad remembers this day and all that stuff.
1938, that was.
You're exactly right. It says it right there, 1938. February 1938. Okay. This man, this is my neighbor as growing up. This man, when I bought the company, brought me this photo, and he says, I went to a dance in 1946, and I owned a black hat and a red hat. And I decided to wear my red hat. And across the dance floor, a lady said to her friends, who's that interesting guy who was daring enough to wear a red hat to the dance? And this is them married. Oh. And so he claims that he wouldn't have met his wife if it wasn't for his red Stormy Kromer hat. And we have, I'll bore you with more stories when we come back, but now we're going to... Put something on the outside with a brand on it. So we trademarked Stormy Kromer. Now that's ours forever. That won't run out. We own the trademark of Stormy Kromer. So rather than having a patent, we own the trademark of Stormy Kromer. The signature is on the outside of the hat and on the back, and that's what's going on here. And a fun story was, imagine buying a company that somebody had for 98 years before I did. And I knew that, especially those of us that live around here, there were a bunch of old-timers that have been wearing Stormy Kromer hats all of their lives. Now I'm about to put something on the outside of the hat that's never been there before. And we didn't want to insult them. Most of the people you're from Ironwood, most of the people that wore our hats were from North Ironwood, and most people from North Ironwood are Finnish. And our name for them was Toivo. And we always said, what's Toivo going to say about this if we put some sort of mark on that? So when we first bought the company, we put this signature in navy blue on a black hat. And we used burgundy on a red hat. You could barely see it. And one day I was in another restaurant, and a man, one of our friends named Atti Nurmala, came up to me and he took his hat off and he had one of our hats on. He pointed to the navy blue thread and said, if I may, he didn't say G-O-D, damn it, he said G-O-T, damn it, because that's how Finnish people think. He says, God damn it, I can't read Stormy Kromer. And when he told me that, I came back and changed the color of thread, because he was a traditional wore one for 50 years. And he was so proud of the hat that he wanted to see the signature, and to him, I wasn't defacing it. So that's what's going on here. We're using contrasting colors. We're using silver on black and yellow on black. Pardon? Not so much. And the other thing was, I don't know if any of you own a hat, we put the story of Stormy Kromer, the true story of how the hat began, inside of the hat. And that takes us to where we are right now, where everybody that owns a hat tells the story. Somebody just say nice hat, you say this is a Stormy Kromer hat. Stormy Kromer was a railroad engineer, his wife was black on it, and that's cool.